So we got married on a Saturday, July 20th, 1996. I can remember being excited, but at the same time, I didn't feel nervous, at least not until she came down the aisle.
I was nervous throughout the day, but excited at the same time to become Mrs. Alex Averitt. But it was a happy day, good day.
So, at first it was like we were just playing house. We both worked, and I think it was, as I think most marriages start out, it kind of started out like you think the fairy tale's supposed to go, and you learn how to do life together.
I was excited about things like going to the grocery store together. Like literally, I remember thinking, like, once we get married, we're going to shop together. And it just, what 19-year-olds, we were clueless.
Over time, within the first year or two, the realities of I was going to school and during the day, and I was working at night. She took a job which began to get a little more demanding, and without a plan of how you're going to stay connected and stay together, it's pretty easy to start to grow apart.
At first, I realized, he was trying to make a life for us, take care of me. But the less time we were together, we would come together on the weekends, go to church, and then we would go our separate ways on Monday. For the rest of the work week, we would go our separate ways. It's like we became roommates pretty much.
The part of me that wanted to be the man or be respected, and so I spent it was like a really bad cycle. If I didn't get that at home, when I got that at work, then I'd spend more time at work, which just made it that much harder for her.
I began to confide in people I should not have confided in, and much of the advice that they gave me was, you've tried for quite some time, and you need to do what makes you happy. And I began to pull away from my family, not just Alex, but anyone that would, give me counsel to stay.
The first time I became consciously aware of how bad our situation was, she had come home, and as I started asking questions, she just looked at me. She said, "I don't think I want to do this anymore." I said, "What do you mean? And are you saying you want a divorce?" And she said, "I don't know, but I can't do this anymore."
I was the one that filed for divorce. So I show up at the courthouse, and I just remember the judge explaining exactly what this meant, and it hit me, what took almost 10 years of marriage almost was literally like over within about 10 minutes. Like, it was very quick. And I walked out of the courtroom and sat down on a bench, and my mom and my sister just sat there and held me, and I just cried.
I remember that day. It was October the 12th, 2005, and I'd intentionally scheduled to be on the road, and I remember calling my mom and telling her that it was final, and I was sad, but I still had hope.
I had hardened my heart towards Alex, so we would see each other whenever I needed money. Like, he kept our joint bank account open through the entire, separation, divorce, and he would say, just go get whatever you need out of the bank.
I enjoyed I still thought she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever laid eyes on, so I still enjoyed getting to see her, even if it was to give her money.
I would also say I found myself during that time making choices that caused myself so much pain. It was just like one thing after another. I was just running from God. And that day, I could hear so clearly sitting at my desk, it's time to go home. So I picked up my phone and I texted Alex and asked, do you think we could have made it?
I remember responding, and I thought she had used the past tense when she asked the question. And I replied intentionally, I know we can make it.
We decided we were going to date, and we sat across the table from each other at Mimi's Cafe, and I just sat there thinking, there was still hurt and honestly unforgiveness, and we had never learned how to communicate. That was one of the problems to begin with.
To be sitting across from someone you had been with for 10 years and had to feel so out of place, like it was just weird. It was it was awkward. That's probably the best way to say it. And so that didn't last very long. It was, I think we had gone a few places, and I can't remember a specific instance where that went away, but pretty quickly, within maybe a few weeks, I would say, and going to dinner or basically going on dates.
Once we got past the awkwardness, then I was excited. I remember feeling very excited, and even more excited than the days leading up to my wedding day.
We had annulment papers drawn up, as we were drafting that. That document actually says that it's just as if the divorce never happened.
And when she read it to us that day, that's the words that came out of her mouth.
Even told us we could refile our taxes. Like, as a married couple, we could go, literally, we could go back. I thought, that's official. That's like officially it never happened if you can go to the IRS and tell them you want your money back. Had I been the man God called me to be and the husband God called me to be, we'd have never got there. And so to actually have a document's great, but what that document actually just reflected was what God had done, and quite frankly, even what Jill had done because of what God had done for her. I was forgiven. That failing to be the husband she needed, that was taken away. And just like, to this day, I look back on that, and that glory belongs to the Lord, because He took what we destroyed and He redeemed it. And I look at Jill, and I look at our girls, and I look at the life God's given us today, and that's what redemption means to me.